All right, today we're jumping into a really fascinating and powerful tradition. We're going to talk about Anirudra Mahadev. Now, this isn't just any deity. This is the special protector, the clan deity of the Awasti lineage. It's an incredible story, really, all about devotion, a divine promise, and a faith that has connected generations for centuries.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start with the name itself because, it holds the key to everything. Anirudra, it breaks down into three parts: A, Ni, and Rudra. And when you put them together, it literally means the one in whom Rudra, which is anger, never arises. So think about that. This isn't just any form of Lord Shiva. We're talking about his eternally calm, protective side, a completely peaceful guardian.
And hey, this isn't some New Age interpretation, not at all. This goes way back. The ancient scripture, the Rudrayamal Tantra, it lays it out crystal clear. It says, Anirudra is the clan protector, that form of Maheshwara who always protects the clan. And that's the absolute core of it, right? This divine protection is specifically tied to one lineage, a promise made to an entire family. So, where does a promise like that even come from? It's a huge deal, right? Well, to find out, we have to go way back to where this whole story begins, with a single sage in a sacred forest deep in the Himalayas. So this whole story is anchored in a real physical place you can point to on a map, Mulkatele, in the Betadi district of Nepal. And it was right here that a sage named Upmanu Rishi, he's the foundational ancestor of the whole Awasti clan, spent years, in intense spiritual practice. We're talking serious penance, surviving on nothing but milk. And you can probably guess what happened next. That kind of devotion, it gets noticed. Lord Shiva himself appeared, completely pleased with the sage's incredible focus, and he gave him this powerful boon. But here's the thing, it wasn't just a personal blessing for the sage. No way. He promised his special, anger-free form, Anirudra, as an eternal protector for Upamanu's entire family line, for all his descendants. And he established Mulkatali as the sacred center for this promise, this divine contract. So this timeline here, it just breaks it down so simply. You see the clear path, right? It starts with one man's incredible devotion. That leads to a divine promise. And that promise leads to the creation of a sacred tradition with a physical home. A home, by the way, where the deity is believed to be Swayambhu, or self-manifested. Not something built by people, but something that arose on its own. Pretty amazing. So you might think the story ends there, in that one forest. But it doesn't. Not even close. As the Awasti clan grew and started to move around, the devotion to Anirudra Mahadev spread with them. It grew from that single source into this incredible network of faith. Right, so even though there's that one original spot, the faith today is really held up by 10 major shrines. You can think of them like spiritual pillars for the whole community. They're spread out all over the place, which means the protector is never too far away. Okay, check this out. What's so cool about this is that you're literally looking at a map of the Awasti clan's journey. You start at the original site, Mukatali, and then you can just trace how their devotion spread all across western Nepal. As they settled in new places, they'd set up their own center of worship. But, and this is key, they always recognize Mulkatali as the original root of it all. All right, so that's the history, but what does it look like today? How do people actually practice this ancient faith in our modern world? Well, let's take a look at the path of worship, and you might be surprised at how accessible it is, how it can fit right into your daily life. So here we go, a simple 6-step process for the daily puja, or worship. This is designed to be super straightforward so anyone in the family can do it and connect with their protector. It's basically a simple but really powerful morning routine. Takes maybe 15 minutes. It's all about purification, making some offerings, and chanting that core mantra to call in that protection for the whole family. But okay, that's the daily routine. Things can get a lot more intense. This chart here really shows the difference. When you have a major festival like Shivaratri, or maybe the family's going through a really tough time, that simple daily puja gets transformed into what's called a Rudra Abhishek. And this is a whole different ballgame. It's a way more elaborate ceremony, starts before dawn, involves tons of special offerings, hours of chanting. The whole point is to call in a much deeper level of divine help. And this is where it all comes together, right? This isn't just some dusty old history or a bunch of abstract rituals.
For the Awasi community, this is a living, breathing tradition. It has a real, tangible presence in their lives today, and you see that most clearly in the stories people tell, stories of divine intervention.
I mean, just listen to some of these. These are just a handful of the stories that get passed around the community, like modern-day proof of the deity's protection. A lost son found after a 21-day vigil, someone recovering from stage 4 cancer, entire homes being spared in an earthquake. These accounts are what keep the faith so strong. They're seen as proof that that ancient promise, that boon, is still very much active today.
Of course, things change, times change, and this tradition is adapting right along with them. For the younger generations, they might live thousands of miles from their ancestral home, so new ways to connect have popped up. It could be as simple as chanting a mantra for 5 minutes a day or making a trip back home once a year. But it's also things like joining Facebook groups and even taking part in online pujas. Technology is actually helping to keep this ancient connection alive and well for the future.
So all of this leaves us with a really big, powerful question, doesn't it? In our super fast-paced global world, what's the point of a tradition like this, one that's tied to a single family line? Well, the story of Anirudra Eestdev seems to give us an answer. It suggests that it provides an anchor, a sense of identity, of protection, of continuity that connects the past to the present. It's just a fascinating example of how ancient faith and modern life don't have to be in conflict. In fact, they can actually make each other richer.